We're going to start this Sunday night with game one of the conference finals in the Eastern Conference. We have the Milwaukee Bucks, who've done a very good job so far in the playoffs, as they've only lost one game on a buzzer beater by Goran Dragic in game two in that semifinals. While the Nets, this is the biggest surprise of the playoffs so far. They beat the Raptors in four, and then they beat the 76ers in four. I'll see if they can continue their magical run so far. Big game, how surprising have the Nets been, and what have their keys been so far in the playoffs?
Well, it's been a pretty big surprise. Nobody really expected with no Kevin Durant for Brooklyn to make it this far in the playoffs. But you've seen the superstar and Kyrie Irving really come out. He's played very well, and you've seen that really with all four teams that are in the conference finals, with Giannis, with the Bucks, Kyrie with Brooklyn, obviously Westbrook and Harden with the Rockets, and obviously AD and LeBron James with the Lakers. But Kyrie's help with his big men. We saw that last year, and those guys are really going to have to continue to be great role players and step up and really guard the paint with Giannis Antetokounmpo and other Bucks driving in, trying to get easy buckets like they did against Miami.
And we'll see if the Nets can continue what they've been doing so well so far in the playoffs. Big game, what are your key matchups in this series for each team?
Well, you'd have to look number one for Brooklyn Nets. You look at Kyrie Irving playing against Eric Bledsoe. Bledsoe obviously known as a very good defender. Can he stop Kyrie Irving? That's something you'll have to keep your eye on. I think off the bench you have to keep an eye on again for Brooklyn. Spencer Dinwiddie. Can Spencer Dinwiddie get the bench rolling for Brooklyn and help them try and win the series? And obviously for the Bucks, it's can Giannis Antetokounmpo continue his great stretch he's been on so far in these playoffs as Kyrie gets in there and scores the first bucket of the conference finals? And Giannis is going to need some help here. Bledsoe, you've seen this step up a few times. We really haven't seen much of Chris Middleton. You'd like to really see him step up in this series. So that's what I see. And a turnover there by Giannis. Jared Allen strips it away.
And Bledsoe blocks Kyrie Irving. And big game, we know Bledsoe had a lot of troubles against the Celtics 2 years ago in the playoffs, but Kyrie Irving not there. It was Terry Rozier. Then last year the Bucks lose that game one. Everyone marks them off saying it's done, it's over. Then they come back, sweep them, or reverse sweep them with a nice 4-1 series victory. And Bledsoe was a part of that, playing good defense on Kyrie, but he just couldn't get his offense going. How do you think the second going of that matchup is going to go?
Well, obviously, Kyrie, an all-world dribbler, and obviously just a great scorer. So that'll be obviously something that Bledsoe, be a little tough to tame Kyrie. But I think Eric Bledsoe has proven over the last 2 years with the Bucks that he is a great defender and can guard about anybody if you give him the chance. As the Bucks have been really sloppy here so far, as Kyrie knocks down out of bounds. The Bucks very sloppy so far on offense. Giannis with 2 turnovers. They have yet to score.
Well, and I think that just needs to be how it is for the Nets, as they had to come out with all their energy going, especially in a home court advantage that the Bucks have had. It's meant a lot for them during the regular season. I know they had that tough loss against Miami at home, but it really wasn't an issue in the long run. And there's the first score as Giannis drives in the paint over Jared Allen. And big game, what do you think about the Nets putting Jared Allen against Giannis in this one?
Well, I figured coming in that they'd play the bigger lineup as they have so far in these playoffs with DeAndre Jordan and Jared Allen both starting. Basically double centers, which there's Giannis gets on the fast break and scores, which that could be the kryptonite right there, is the fast break, having two centers trying to run. But if it's a set play or it's obviously the Bucks slow it down, two big men should be able to stop Giannis a lot easier than just one. So I do like it. You've seen Jared Allen already get the ball out of Giannis' hands twice. But it'll be interesting to see if the Bucks can really expose Brooklyn on the fast break.
And big game, the Bucks, a top three rebounding team in the NBA. How does that fare for the Nets, who most of their points and offenses relied on rebounding or dominating on the defensive end with rebounding?
Well, and that's the factor with having two big men like Jared Allen, DeAndre Jordan, and obviously Claxton off the bench, all great rebounders, and we've seen that so far. As especially DeAndre Jordan and Jared Allen, plenty of offensive rebounds so far in the first two series, and that's something that they can keep that up. I mean, they should have a pretty fair chance of keeping up with the Bucks here in the series as Kyrie drives again and can finish.
Wow, great defense by the Bucks there in the 2-on-1 situation. Oh, but Jared Allen almost gets a steal. He can't get it though. Jared Allen seemed like he wanted to charge on Giannis, but Giannis just goes up and shoots a nice one-handed floater, it seemed.
We saw Jared Allen stripped Giannis yet again at the start of that play. Giannis able to get that one back, but Jared Allen with some quick hands so far, able to get the ball out of Giannis, strip him a couple of times so far. Another thing to keep your eye on is that Jared Allen can keep that up, rattle Giannis a little bit. As now Giannis strips Kyrie Irving. Bucks are on the run.
Oh, somehow Kyrie holds his ground as Giannis misses a layup. And big game if you're the Bucks, how does your defensive scheme change with Kyrie Irving out there, or do you just continue to do the same thing?
Well, I don't think much will change. Obviously, they've played superstars. They played Jimmy Butler last series. Obviously playing Kyrie Irving last year and a couple other superstars last year. It changes depending on who it is. Obviously, you've seen Kyrie get a couple of fast break layups here, or layups, I should say. But other than that, the defense has been pretty solid. I think you have Lopez and Giannis down low to block off any layups or any driving attempts for Kyrie Irving. So making Kyrie a jump shooter and obviously keeping Bledsoe or somebody on him will be a major key. And it'll also be interesting to see if Brooklyn decides to ride with Kyrie throughout like the quarters, or I should say rotation wise, as they have so far, as Kyrie's the floater there. Because we've seen Kyrie stay out for the whole first quarter and most of the third quarter, and then he sits most of the fourth quarter, most of the second quarter, really leaving the starters out there with Spencer Dinwiddie or another bench player.
And big game, another key is you're discussing the benches. The Bucks probably have the best bench so far of the four teams that are left. If the Clippers had made it, then we can make the argument that they have the better bench than the Bucks, or at least even between the two teams. But now the Bucks have the advantage against any team they play off the bench, so there's really no excuses from here on out for them.
And you'd have to say, in my opinion, probably the second best bench is probably Brooklyn. It was spent off the bench to score. Torian Prince, Axis played well. You'd really have to think that the Brooklyn bench is probably the second bench because the Lakers don't have a real scoring threat. Kuzma very up and down. Obviously Dwight Howard, same thing. Dwight Howard's not his prime anymore. Not really knows to score, and obviously the Rockets just known for hucking up threes. They have a decent bench, but really no star powers. Kyrie shoots a fadeaway three there is no good.
And you'd think if this Bucks bench can just keep the game close against a lineup like this where they leave Kyrie Irving with Spencer Dinwiddie, and we know Spencer Dinwiddie comes off the bench, but if this Bucks bench is going to keep up with Kyrie Irving, it's going to be really hard for Brooklyn to come back out and perform well against the Bucks starting lineup. But Bucks struggling from free throws so far is 2 for 4 in their last two trips.
And you see a Brooklyn should have the last shot here with about 10 seconds left in this first quarter, tied up at 10 here in game one of the Eastern Conference Finals.
Oh, it's going to go to the man
Thinking
himself,
Kyrie's going
Kyrie
to shoot
Irving.
this.
And he hits. What a shot. And the Bucks will not get a shot off as there's 0.2 seconds left. 13-10 is the score going into the second quarter. We'll be back shortly. And big game so far. This game pretty close, but it was the Brooklyn defense holding Giannis down as much as they could handle. And Jared Allen was doing a great job forcing turnovers early on him.
And obviously now, uh, the Bucks always a block there by Claxton. The Bucks obviously Kyrie's still out there. The Bucks allowed a double screen at the end of the first quarter, allowed Kyrie to get open for three and hit that three down right before the end of the quarter to give Brooklyn the lead. It'll be interesting to see as George Hill gets a steal here if how long Kyrie Irving stays out now for this second quarter after playing the whole first quarter.
And what we saw, Kyrie Irving right now, as you said, I'm sure we'll see similar lineups as what we saw in the 76ers series, where he comes out about 2 or 3 minutes left in the quarter, but then he'll still start at halftime and then have a shorter period of time there. We'll see if Kenny Atkinson goes with that risky lineup that he did against the 76ers, though, where, oh, it's blocked by Claxton. That's already 2 blocks for him. DiVincenzo, though, hits the three. We saw that risky lineup big game where Kenny Atkinson would have Kyrie Irving not out for the final 2 minutes of the game, but rely on Spencer Dinwiddie. Do you think we'll see the same thing versus the Bucks?
Obviously it worked against the 76ers, so he might ride with his. There's a block there by Robin Lopez. You'd think it would change here in the conference finals, but obviously you saw how poorly Simmons and Embiid played in that semifinal series against Brooklyn, which allowed Kenny Atkinson to ride with Spencer Dinwiddie and close out games. It'll be a lot different against Giannis as Kyrie drains a three now from the corner wide open.
So far, DiVincenzo's been the offensive source for the Bucks. He takes it. Oh, it's another
Oh,
block, but it's a great pass off of that block into Robin Lopez's hands for a layup.
and Claxton now with back-to-back blocks on back-to-back possessions that both resulted in offensive rebounds and pass out for an easy three by DiVincenzo, and now they're an easy layup attempt.
You can't do much if you're Claxton there. You're doing your job defensively. He has 3 blocks in the game. It's exactly what you asked for. But DiVincenzo, big game. You said he was the X factor in the first series against Orlando, but you said he would blossom into an even better player in this playoffs, and this game one's looking like it so far.
And he obviously George Hill, the point guard of the second unit, known as the 3-point specialist, and obviously leads the league in 3-point percentage this year. But really, DiVincenzo, I think, will have to become the scorer for the second unit for the Bucks, for them to really take the advanced step. Obviously, they've taken the next step the past year and a half, but I think the advanced step to obviously make it to the finals and win the finals, they're going to need that score off the bench, and DiVincenzo can do that.
Oh, here comes Spencer Dinwiddie for three. He can't hit. And you see how well Giannis has been doing on the offense, not allowing any offensive rebounds for Jared Allen or DeAndre Jordan, and that's going to be tough for the Nets to try and get a lead in this game. Kyrie makes another layup, and it's back up to 3 for the Nets. He has 16 points, big game, of the 20 for the Nets. I don't know if that's going to be able to continue in the first half. So if you're the Nets, you probably need a bigger lead at this point to have more confidence. Oh, Wesley Matthews gets a rebound but can't finish. Looks like they have a mismatch in the post. Jared Allen, hook shot, it's good, and it's up to 5 now.
Kyrie Irving's still out there now with under 2 minutes left. He has played this whole entire game. I'm out there after Middleton's layup. I'm guessing you could see Kyrie Irving get pulled here, take a seat for the rest of the half.
And we'll see what the Nets do out of the timeout there. And big game, Kyrie Irving finally subbing out of this game, but what a performance by him so far. 16 points in the first half.
And he has taken the majority of the shots for the Brooklyn Nets, and obviously he has scored at will and hasn't had much help. But Brooklyn obviously with the lead, and the Bucks, I mean, only down three with how Kyrie Irving's plays. Milton now back-to-back shots.
And it's not only how Kyrie Irving's played that you should feel good as a Bucks fan, but Giannis hasn't even had a great game this game. He hasn't done much of the scoring. It's been more of a just a layup here and there by each of their team, but that bench did a great job holding it together, especially DiVincenzo, to keep this game close. We'll see if Middleton or Bledsoe can also step up. But here comes Jan. Whoa! Joe Harris gets a steal out of that. Great job on defensive
Well,
end.
and something I point out so far, yeah, Brooklyn's defense has been absolutely excellent. Is there a lob to Jordan? Great pass from Joe Harris. But now we've seen a couple, two or three blocks by Claxton. We've seen Jared Allen strip Giannis three or four times. You just saw Joe Harris strip him. We've seen some outstanding defense so far in this first half by the Brooklyn Nets.
Big game, what's allowed this Nets team just to turn into this great defensive unit overall, including starters and bench in the playoffs compared to their regular season, where I don't think you could have said they were a defensive team coming into the playoffs.
Well, you think obviously Kyrie has stepped up his game here, which has really helped the offense out. But defensively and offensively for the big men, I think they've been a real big key that have really helped Brooklyn take that step. And obviously they're up one here at half in game one over the Bucks.
And we're going to head over to our halftime shows. The first half, all Kyrie Irving, 16 out of the 24 points from Kyrie Irving for the Nets, yet they only lead by one. And big game, it just feels like they put in so much effort to have the lead, yet Bucks only 1% higher than them, down one. But the Nets, an assist higher, two more blocks, and a steal higher. But the rebound game goes to the Bucks, as there was some key offensive rebounds there, like you said, off Claxton's blocks. I don't know if we'll see that in the second half. Anything else on the first half, big game?
Both teams pretty identical, shooting the ball wise. Obviously, defensively, blocks and steals give the edge to Brooklyn, which I think has allowed them to have the lead, and that makes up for obviously their deficit in rebounds. So, but other than that, I have a very close first half, and it'll be interesting to see if Kyrie Irving continues to carry the load for Brooklyn in the second half, or if we see Spencer Dinwiddie or Karis LeVert, or even the big men of DeAndre Jordan, Claxton, or Jared Allen step up and try to beat the offense.
And as we're back here for the Eastern Conference Finals Game 1, second half, Bucks trail by one at home. Another surprising effort, as just continues to be the phrase for the Brooklyn Nets. They just cannot stop playing great defense against any team that comes at them, and the Bucks not even having that great of a game so far yet, only trail by one. So I think there's a lot of room for potential of a huge third quarter for them. And big game, we saw Chris Middleton D up Jimmy Butler very well in that semifinal series. How surprising was that?
I'm very surprised there's Allen there with an and one. Uh, he's somebody that needs to step up. Very surprising. Struggling obviously, but the Bucks in a close one here. But as Lopez fires up a three, no good. Oh, there's an offensive rebound for Giannis, and he's able to put that one back over Irving.
And you look at that big game, 6 points on 50% shooting. And I'd say Giannis's average field goal percentage in this series has been around, or in the playoffs overall, has been about 70 to 75%. So, although that looks good on paper normally for a star, He's been playing out of his mind, so the Nets actually holding him down today. And big game, Brook Lopez was the X factor in that series against Miami. We knew Giannis would show up each and every game, but he was that number two that they needed. And we'll see if Middleton can hit a three here off the screen. He can't again, but Giannis again. And that's 4 straight offensive rebounds. 2 for the Bucks, 2 for the Nets. So it's starting to turn into a offensive rebounding game now.
A tough
Kyrie
shot
can't
there by
finish.
Irving.
We'll see if the Bucks can take the lead for the first time since the first quarter. Bledsoe looking for the pick and roll with Brook Lopez. Oh, it's going to be a pick and pop. He can't hit, but it's another offensive rebound. Big game. What has been the change to see all these offensive rebounds now? Giannis has as many points in the second half as he did in the first.
Yeah, it's been pretty crazy here on the offensive boards in the first 2 minutes of this third quarter. You'd have to say a few of these rolls have gone straight to the Bucks. Obviously, Giannis has put himself in great position, and ditto with the Brooklyn Nets big men on their offensive end.
And if you're the Nets, how do you solve the offensive rebounding issue? Because it's just been Giannis. If you're the Nets, it's been DeAndre Jordan and Jared Allen at least. So you know it's multiple guys and it's the whole team's effort. But how do you stop Giannis on the offensive glass if you're the Nets?
You might have to start thinking about putting two on him, even if it's it's George Hill with a nice lift there. Even if it's double teaming him during the play, not just boxing out, putting more bodies on him. Um, yeah, we could see that. Obviously, he's out now. And yet again, we see Irving out there with a bench of the Brooklyn Nets.
And that's just going to make it even more pressure on Kyrie Irving to get a bigger lead going to the fourth quarter. Because if they don't have a big lead, I don't know if that Nets starting lineup is going to stand a chance against the Bucks starting lineup. Oh, Kyle Korver, pull up three, can't hit. And big game because of Kyrie Irving out there right now. Oh, he almost makes and one, but does not go down. He'll shoot two. We'll see Spencer Dinwiddie most likely come out in the fourth quarter with the Nets starting lineup. So it is going to be the 76ers strategy, it seems, that they won the series 3-1.
Well, it'll be interesting. Obviously, you haven't seen Karis LeVert or Spencer Dinwiddie take a lot of shots here in this game. It's been a lot of Kyrie Irving. So either you got to think either one, maybe they saved their legs here for this fourth quarter run, or they're going to be pretty rusty not being able to put up shot attempts. I think that'll be the real question as to whether the Brooklyn Nets can win this game or not.
And Musa for three, he hits. And Claxton is up to 4 blocks. And Musa hits a three off the nice outlet pass to him. We'll see if the Bucks bench can keep this game close. Here comes George Hill again. Nice finish, but cannot actually as he was fouled. And he'll go to the line for 2 free throws. In the first half, the Bucks struggled from the line. We'll see if the second half changes, and he does so far as Hill makes both. And big game that we're going to see Spencer Dinwiddie and Kyrie Irving once again out here. So minutes wise, the Nets have just been playing their guards very heavy minutes, no matter their opponent.
And Irving again able to get by George Hill and draw the foul there and get to the line, continuing to add to his point total so far here in this game one.
And he's shooting a perfect percentage, 6 for 6 for the line. So that's exactly what you want out of your star. Oh, and Claxton seemed like he wanted his 5th block of the game, but it's ended up with his 3rd foul in the game, and Robin Lopez is going to go to the line. Lopez will go 1 for 2 on that trip. Bucks trail by 3.
And Bucks in the bonus now. the rest of this third quarter.
And I think that's the risk if you're the Nets. You just have Claxton out there as your big man, and when you have Marvin Williams and Ersan Ilyasova at power forward, it's going to be tough to hold them down on the offensive end or driving wise. Oh, nice spin move by DiVincenzo, and he'll hit. And he has carried this Bucks bench all game. But
And
another
Irving and back on the other end.
and big game. What do you have to say about 16 minutes he's only played, and he's 24 points on 42% shooting, and 6 for
Well,
6 from
obviously
the
he's
free
been
throw
feeling
line.
it. He's gotten a couple open threes, but really he's been able to just blow by George Hill off the bench and finish or get to the line. Obviously he has 6 free throws, and there Pat Connaughton finishes in the lane.
The Bucks have been hitting some tough shots through pretty good Brooklyn defense at times, besides on the fast break. So you can't be too mad if you're Kenny Atkinson. Oh, tough miss in the paint for Kyrie. Here comes the Bucks again in fast break. We'll see if Connaughton will take a shot in the paint. No, he's going to turn it over.
And Brooklyn with a 2-on-1 here. Prince finishes.
Last shot most likely in Milwaukee's hands. Less than 5 seconds now. Here comes DiVincenzo off the screen. No, George Hill's going to take a deep three. Doesn't even touch the rim. 41-38 going into the fourth quarter, led by Kyrie Irving's 24 points. And as we're heading into the fourth quarter, big game, what do we think Mike Budenholzer is telling his team coming out of the break?
Well, obviously he'll have a fresh Giannis here in this fourth quarter. I think you'll see them try to really go to Giannis and take control of this game. I think you'll look. The Bucks will really step up their game here. So Spencer Dinwiddie drains a three from the top of the key. And something I would like to point out so far, game ones are very important. So far, what we've seen so far in these sim playoffs is Lopez takes a deep two, no good. Giannis boards it. Giannis throws it down one-handed. That's how he got in good position on Jared Allen and able to finish. But the Indiana Pacers were the only team to win game one and lose the series. Every other team so far that we've seen, whether it was the first round or the semifinals in the second round, every team that won game one went on to win the series. So obviously the percentage is very high for the team that wins game one to go on and advance.
Lopez struggling from three in this one as he's yet to hit. Nets have a chance to extend this to an 8 or 9 point lead if they can score. Here comes LeVert. No, it's going to be Claxton for a mid-range. Can't hit. And big game, do you think the Bucks playing fast is going to be the key, or should they slow it down in this fourth quarter?
Well, I think they're gonna have to play fast with obviously the two big men of Allen and Claxton, and obviously when Claxton goes on, you bring in DeAndre Jordan. You're gonna have to run to get up ahead of those guys, create fast break off misses or turnovers, and try to crawl back into this. Because
Oh, and a
obviously running set play
mismatch.
so far, we have not seen much. As Allen right over Eric Bledsoe, Brooklyn leads by 8 now.
And you look at that, Giannis, 14 points only, and I think it's going to take a huge fourth quarter for them to win this game out of Giannis. So we'll see if he has it in him. Wesley Matthews can't hit, and the Bucks struggling early in the fourth quarter.
And we have not seen Kyrie Irving here in this fourth quarter, which is another big. Here Dinwiddie can't grab it, and Middleton should have a fast break.
And he'll
Lays it in.
finish. 6 point deficit, 3:30 left. Oh, and another
And
turnover.
another
Wesley
turnover.
Matthews up
And
to
this time
Giannis.
Giannis.
4 point lead now only for the Nets. Big game. Fast break is starting to become the key for the Bucks to make this comeback.
And back-to-back turnovers by Brooklyn. Poor turnovers too. Not even close to the basket. Both out by the 3-point line. Can't have that in fourth quarter of playoff games and expect to win.
And this defense is turning it up as the Bucks almost get another turnover. Joe Harris fadeaway. Can't hit. Here come the Bucks, less than 3 minutes. Oh, and they slow it down this time. Giannis wide open for three. Can't hit. And big game if you're the Bucks. Do you want Giannis shooting that shot down four right now?
I mean, a wide open three. I think you got to allow him to take that. Even though it's late in the game, as Dinwiddie takes a fadeaway three, no good.
Here come the Bucks again. Fast break. He takes another three. Can't hit.
Yeah, now that three was questionable in my opinion. Open lane 1v1 as Joe Harris now pulls up a threes. Now we're seeing the pull up threes get brought out here late in the game. Now 2 minutes remaining here in this fourth quarter. Bledsoe drives. Jared Allen stuffs him.
And this game is just turning a very fast-paced effort, but Spencer Dinwiddie ends the streak of no score the past minute, and it's now a 6-point lead for the Nets. This would be a very huge win for them. Giannis, a pull-up mid-range, he hits this time. And big game, Giannis just missed back-to-back threes. What does it take for him to take that pull-up mid-range with so much confidence and hit it?
Well, it doesn't show that. It shows that he doesn't lack confidence. That's for sure. Especially with an open lane there. But they're gonna need some big defensive stops here late or some turnovers to try and win this game one. As Brooklyn so far has played well, and Kyrie Irving back in the game.
And we'll also see Dante DiVincenzo sub in for the Bucks. It's been a common trend for them. Oh, but Kyrie Irving hits a tough finish over Bledsoe. 26 points for him. And big game has been so surprising. Usually we've seen Kyrie Irving perform very well on the three-point line or mid-range against the Raptors and the 76ers, but this game, it's been all about his paint play so far.
Yeah, he has really showed off his fancy finishes near the rim and how crafty he is. He's been able to blow by whether it's been Bledsoe is Giannis stuffs one there. Whether it's been Bledsoe and or George Hill, and the Bucks are gonna have to look to do something to change this moving forward because you cannot allow Kyrie Irving to have easy baskets like he's had tonight, and he's controlled the game, and obviously that's why Brooklyn is winning.
Fade away three is good, and Kyrie Irving's going to give the Nets a 7-point lead. He's up to 29. He might be going for the playoff high right now.
And slowly but surely now, Kyrie Irving as Giannis to get another dunk here on a drive, trying to keep the Bucks in it here. Late now, under a minute left, down five. Kyrie Irving slowly bringing himself into this MVP conversation of the playoffs so far. Obviously, we've seen Giannis play so well, and obviously Russell Westbrook is Kyrie another step back three. Can't get that one, but Kyrie really
Oh,
played well here. So here come the
Bledsoe.
Bucks on
Here
a
he
fast break.
comes. It's a
Bucks back down
three-point
three
game.
now.
And
40.8 seconds left.
And big game, was that the right shot for Kyrie Irving to take? As that resulted in a quick possession for the Bucks, and now it's gonna be a jump ball. Wow, what a change of
Well,
events! Nets were up 7 at one point.
you'd have to think you'd allow Kyrie to take that shot. He's got the hot hand, and he wins the jump ball there for Eric Bledsoe. And huge defensive possession here for the Milwaukee Bucks. Can they get a stop here and try to tie this game up? A lob to DeAndre Jordan. Can't finish.
And that's a great written up play there, whether it was by Kyrie Irving's vision or Kenny Atkinson. You take that all day with how well the chemistry's been between Jordan and Kyrie, but a shocking miss there. And we'll see if the Bucks go for a quick, probably are going for a three as they have no timeouts, but wouldn't surprise us. Oh no, Brooke
Oh,
Lopez throws it away on the inbound. And one more foul, and it'll be bonus here. We'll see who they're going to, whether it's Kyrie or LeVert. It seems like it's LeVert. Another big free throw here to give them a 5-point lead. LeVert hits both. No
And obviously the
timeouts
Bucks,
left.
no timeouts. Yeah, the Bucks, no timeouts. Used on that last possession they had when Lopez turned it over, and now the Bucks definitely gonna need some threes here.
And great rebound there by Jordan, and I think that's going to do it. The Nets shock the Bucks in game 1. Unbelievable. Just once again, the Nets are not stopping this playoff run right now. And Bledsoe will take the half
Half
court
court Bledsoe.
shot. No good. 59-52 will be the final. Nets win 59-52, and in a game 1, like you said, big game, every team that's won game 1 in the series has won besides the Indiana Pacers in the first round. So we'll see how big of a factor that has on the Bucks. And let's go to our post-game show. Big game, Giannis really struggled in that first half as Jared Allen did a great job, but his second half really kept the Bucks alive in the fourth quarter and almost brought them to a victory. But overall, the team struggled besides Giannis. I believe they shot 11 for 33 besides Giannis in the game. So you can't do that if you have stars such as Middleton as your number 2. He didn't have the worst game, but you can't go 0 for 3, especially when we saw him taking wide open threes. Even that last shot in the fourth quarter wasn't a bad look. And Bledsoe, 3 for 6 as well. Not the worst game, but you need more out of them, especially in the Eastern Conference Finals. Now, DiVincenzo, the one bright spot off the bench. Anyone else on the Bucks' big game?
No. I mean, really, as you pointed out, their second and third options, Bledsoe and Middleton didn't really have great games. Giannis had 6 at half. Obviously, poured in 16 there in the second half, and really tried to keep the Bucks in the game, but it wasn't enough. And obviously, a stunning loss here in Game 1 at home to the Brooklyn Nets.
And as we take a look at the Nets, wow, I think that is our playoff career high unless did Russell Westbrook score higher than 31? It was very close to that total, but Kyrie Irving, a magical game 1 in the Eastern Conference Finals, and he's really trying to prove a lot of his doubters wrong after going to Brooklyn. This Milwaukee team beat him last year and eliminated him on Boston, so this might be a little revenge for him. The rest of his team didn't even do a lot. DeAndre Jordan only 4 points, 3 rebounds. And we've seen him have monster games so far in the first round and the semifinals. And Jared Allen, 8 and 8, that's what you expect out of him. And we'll scroll down to Claxton. He was the key defensively with those 4 blocks. Anything else big game on the net side?
Well, I mean, obviously, Kyrie Irving sets the playoff high now, 31, beating Russell Westbrook's 29 that he had. But again, we talked about it. The big men really producing. Jared Allen, 8 and 8, 4 4. DeAndre Jordan added in some there, and obviously Claxton on the defensive end had 4 blocks. And even Spencer Dinwiddie. Spencer Dinwiddie only puts in 5 points, but has 5 assists off the bench. And that was big too when Kyrie Irving was on the floor for Spencer Dinwiddie, obviously to keep everyone involved and keep scoring the basketball. But Kyrie Irving, 8 for 8 from the line, 3 of 5 from downtown. Pours in 31, and he just took advantage of the driving lane, getting by George Hill or Eric Bledsoe all night long, and finishing around the rim with his crafty skills. And he really put his imprint on this game, and so far on this series, you got to say that he is playing like a man on a mission, and we'll see if he can continue that in Game 2.
And big game with this loss. How much pressure is on the Milwaukee Bucks to win, to make sure that they perform well in game 2?
Well, obviously, you never like to lose games at home, but we've seen him lose before. Obviously, they lost to Miami, came back and won that series fairly easily. So we'll see what Budenholzer and the rest of the Bucks really drop. Obviously, you won't see them shoot that poorly from downtown again. Obviously, 1 to 12, Doesn't happen very often for this Milwaukee Bucks squad with the best record in the league. So I think you'll see them come back and bounce back very strong in game two. Unless Kyrie Irving or Spencer Dinwiddie and or the big men of Brooklyn really shine like they have so far in these playoffs, I think you'll see Milwaukee come back and rebound very nicely.
That's going to do it from us for game one. 59-52 the final. The Nets upset the Bucks in game one of the Eastern Conference Finals. We'll be back soon with our second game of the night as the Houston Rockets travel to Los Angeles to face the one-seeded Lakers. We'll be back in about 5 minutes. See you soon.